Hello friends and welcome to today's episode of Booked. I'm your host Saffron Asteria and I'm joined today by four of the authors from the Rings of Adventure Anthology. That was a challenge to say. I nearly tripped up on that, but we're here. Please welcome Jesse, Sarah, Mike and Tobias from the Rings of Adventure Anthology. We're going to be talking about everybody's stories today. We're going to be looking at the individual artwork that you'll be getting when you back the Kickstarter. I'm not giving you a choice now. We're assuming that you are going to be backing the Kickstarter. So I look forward to hearing more about your creative processes. And I'd just like to thank you for joining me today. How are you guys doing?
Doing well.
Pretty good.
Yeah. As good as we can be.
It's a Friday.
Oh yeah, it's a Friday for all those who
Friday.
Celebrate. For those who work at the weekends, it's still Friday. It's just potentially not a happy one. So it just depends on the situation. So what we're going to do is we're going to go around and talk about everybody's contributions to the anthology, and we're going to look at some cool artwork and talk about everybody's inspiration. So without further ado, because I will just word vomit for the next 50 minutes if I'm not careful, we're going to start with Jesse. After you've wet your whistle with the coolest cup I've seen so far today. Is it metal? Is it
yeah, so this is actually one of the commemorative mugs from the Georgia Renaissance Festival. I don't think it's really legible, but we try to get one every year. We have not always succeeded, but there's a couple floating around the house.
That's amazing. I was like, okay, I'm locked in. Whatever this guy says, I'm listening to. It's a commanding mug.
I gotta remember the mug now. I gotta start using that more often.
It works. This was because it was shiny. Maybe I'm a magpie. I don't know if it worked for anyone else.
Very good.
So, do you dress up for the Ren fairs?
I don't. My wife tends to. For me, it's about heat. My two biggest events of the year are the Renfest and Dragon Con. Both of them occur at a time where it feels like you're walking through soup.
Oh, yeah.
Everyone that I would cosplay is in like leather or armor or things like that. My body, I believe a lot of ways body type determines cosplay, and I'm a very broad man, and that's. So I have to. Those are the characters. I'm a gear like from Gears of War. So it's very hard for me to do anything that doesn't burn up. The one that I thought of that I really want to do that no one will understand is from Monster Hunter International.
Okay.
That's the first novel from Larry Correia. Owen is a big dude. Mm-hmm. And he gets covered in vampire guts and all kinds of nonsense. And they stop at this roadside gas station. And the only shirt that they have that will fit him is a lime green shirt that says "No Fat Chicks." So I really want to do the MHI hat, tactical pants and boots, and the lime green shirt, oversized lime green shirt that says "No Fat Chicks." But it will make so many people mad.
I imagine
that I'll do it one day and have like a copy of the book and the page number ready, like so people. But I'll just get yelled at. It'll be okay. I've been yelled at before. More like chewed out. Yeah.
But if you carry the mug around with you, people won't mess with you because of its commanding presence.
There we go. That's the plan.
So tell me about your story for this anthology. So for those who haven't heard about this is a collection of 34 authors, correct me if I'm wrong, who've written a different story based on the overarching theme of rings. And it's a mixture of fantasy, horror, romance, and science fiction. So what did you write for the anthology?
So I was a late edition. I got kind of pulled in at the last minute. I went on Balding with Mike and Roe, and they looked at me at the end of the interview and said, "Hey, do you want to jump in?" I said, "Yeah, sure." 5,000 words is kind of a challenge for me. I tend to write longer, but I was like, "Yeah, I'll figure it out." So when they told me the theme, I didn't need to write up or anything. They just told me in person. The first thing that popped into my head was not a literal ring like your wedding ring or anything like that. Mm-hmm. It was tinnitus. It's the ring that happens when you fire a weapon without ear pro or anything like that, which I've had some experience with between heavy metal concerts and firearms training. And so that instantly was an idea kind of that popped up for me. So that's what I worked off of. And I actually start my story with a very real life phenomenon that when you're actually hunting or in a firefight or anything like that, and you pull the trigger on a weapon, it does not ring your ears the same way.
Mhm.
I don't know if it's the pressure in your head or it's the way your body processes, like your brain processes things, but when you're firing a shot in anger for real, the ring is much shorter. Instead of like a negligent discharge when you're not expecting it will ring your ear for 45 seconds. You're just the whole time. It's long. It lasts a long time. In an actual engagement, it's a pop. It's that pow, and you get the ring, but it's like a text message notification. It lasts 5 seconds. It's pow, wing, gone. Pow, wing, gone, and you're back to normal. So that's where my story starts.
I find that so interesting because my first interpretation of the brief was a ringing in the ears.
Awesome.
And I was like, how can I be like really abstract with this? But mine was going to be about this old couple, and it was going to be really gross, and I couldn't make it work for the audience that we're looking for this. So I think these are supposed to be PG-13 for the most part, so most people will be able to read these. So in terms of actually like developing the story, did it go through many iterations, or did you kind of just get it first time? Was it always going to be about the same thing?
Yeah, so it was always going to be about the same thing. The big what am I going to do was I kind of had to actually from okay what I do. You'll see two pen names here. So James Fain is the more industry standard kind of pen name, and then Tyra Strake is for anything that gets more towards erotica. And so I write harems and stuff like that. Both contain lots of action. Action is my thing. And I actually borrowed the characters from Tyra Strake to write this as a Jesse James Fain story because of the PG-13 requirements. So but the big debate was whether it was going to be urban fantasy or if it was going to stay as a thriller. And in the end, what I did was kind of ride the line. And so there's things that happen in the story that they're not magic, they're just weird. And you can't, I hope people can't figure out if it's magic or luck or what the deal is. It's a very action-packed thriller. It's your three friendly neighborhood hitmen performing a rescue mission.
Amazing.
And I'll save going into greater depth for other questions or for when you read the story.
Excellent. So I will say when we get to your artwork, it's a little bit raunchy. It's not too raunchy, but it's a little bit raunchy. So
yeah, well,
where that is like snuck in there.
Yeah.
Well, thank you very much, Jesse. So I'm going to go around to Sarah. So could you tell us a little bit about what kind of story you wrote and what was your inspiration from the brief?
So I've written it's sort of a mystery horror called Skylark. And I mean, I took the prompt and I sort of was like, how abstract can I push this in a way I think a lot of us did? And the way my story started, because I had absolutely no clue what I wanted to write when I got the prompt, but I knew that I didn't want it to be something like a wedding ring or something like that. And I very much started with my main character, who is this Swedish PI called Sarsen, who's been run out of Stockholm and is building a new life in Aberdeen. And I was like, well, what is it that would like get this character so like into this? Like what would really drive this character? And the story just kind of came from there. It was like I was like, oh, graffiti could be really cool. So my interpretation is these graffitied rings all over the city.
That's awesome. So with something like a mystery, which in my experience usually takes quite a long time to unravel, how did you manage getting this like impactful, exciting storyline in so few words?
I think what really helped was I really struggled with my first draft, and it took a really different turn. So the first draft had this ending that I knew it didn't really fit, and I was really struggling, and I put it up in our Discord channel, and I was like, someone please help me. And E.L. Montague, who's also in the anthology, sent me so many comments and really sort of helped me refine it. And so it's got a completely different ending now, and he really helped me with a lot of the mystery elements as well, which helped.
Amazing. So is this the first mystery type thing that you've written?
Yes, it was. I don't know why I decided to go for a new genre with a short story in an anthology, but I did, and I quite enjoyed it. I've got very attached to my characters, which is never good when you're a horror author. But
that's accurate. I find myself detaching myself from my characters because I eventually will just kill them all. I can't deal with the heartache. Amazing. So you write predominantly like horror, and I mean you write a huge range of stuff. It doesn't surprise me that you went with a completely different genre for this task because you like doing stuff like that.
I mean, it surprised me. But I think also the fact that it was PG-13, a lot of my initial ideas, I was like, no, can't do that. No, I can't do that in a PG-13 way. And it was such a I remember I had a conversation with Ro, and I was like, but like, what are we saying with PG-13? Like, here, you have to give me the specifics, because I was reading Stephen King's It at 13.
Yeah.
So like, that doesn't really work for me.
But also it's different in the UK. Like, I mean, we've seen it with movie endings that they have to have like more, I don't know, happy movie endings than they do in the UK, like in the US than they do in the UK, because from what I can tell, you guys can't handle it, and that says what it says. But there seems to be like a much lower tolerance for like violence and like graphic material in media. No, we don't need to get into a whole thing about this, but it's just
I'll get onto the censorship and the
that's fine
right now, because I will go off.
That's okay, we'll talk about that later. But it was just interesting to hear you say that, because I had a very similar thing where I was like, this is probably fine. I've watched and read much more challenging material in my youth, but that probably explains why I have so much trouble mentally today. So perhaps it is the right thing, who knows. But thank you very much, Sarah. So we're going to move to Mike now. So could you tell us about your story and what your inspiration was?
Yeah, for sure. So my story is called Five Rings, and I'm not as creative. I wasn't as creative with the prompts as you guys. The first thing that popped into my head when I heard rings was, I live in the Atlanta area, and I thought of the 5 rings for the Olympics. So my story is about so it's fantasy. I'm a fantasy author, and it's a fantasy where a arcanist, or like a mage kind of, gets forced into a tournament, and it's a deadly tournament, and the first person who wins 5 rings wins the tournament, basically. And it's kind of in the story takes place kind of in the last stages of this death tournament, essentially. And so yeah, that's how I interpreted the prompt.
Well, that seems very dark, Mike. Is anything about this particular story connected to any of the worlds that you've created with your other work?
Yeah, so it actually does take place in the same world. It's none of the same characters, but it does take place in the same world, and it's kind of an exploration of the magic system in a part of the world that I haven't touched on yet in my series. So yeah, I thought it would be a cool little way to check on some other parts of the world.
Well, that's cool. Did it inspire you to sort of explore that in more detail in your sort of longer work?
Yeah, I have plans to kind of go into some more stuff in future books. And so this was kind of a way to flesh out some of those, different cultures and different areas. And I think it'll be a really interesting tie-in to what's going on in my main series, for sure.
Cool. So was the inspiration that you had initially what you ended up with your final version?
Yeah, so I started off pretty much knowing what I wanted to do, and I only went through a couple of iterations of this story.
Mhm.
Like Sarah said, E.L. Montague really helped me a lot.
Mhm.
He sent me back a bunch of feedback, and then I got feedback from a couple of people that read it.
Mhm.
But mostly it's been the same story since I wrote it, and it's just been tweaking things here or there. Really the biggest thing, kind of like Jesse was saying, is just cutting it down, because when I first wrote it, it was like 7,000 words, and then I had to cut it down to 6,000 and then 5,000. So, being a epic fantasy writer, it's kind of the name of the game to be long-winded.
Yeah. I've noticed that as a common theme with the fantasy writers in the group, because we have this Discord, and you can see people going through it when they're sort of whittling everything down, and there's like me over here like 1,500 words, and I was like, I really should make it a bit longer.
It's the struggle.
Oh, I was so succinct, but then it gave me the opportunity to like have more space for mine. But I imagine it's really hard, like cutting stuff out from a short story as it is, because they're already short. Like, how do you do that without like completely changing how the story works?
It's a challenge. I think that's one of the best things about writing in like a short story anthology, or just writing novellas, or anything different from what you normally write. It really challenges you and makes you do something different,
Is this the first anthology that you've written for?
For me, yeah, definitely.
Yeah, me too. It's been really a really cool experience. It's been really fun to see everybody else's interpretations of the brief, because I mean, there are a lot of fantasy authors in this anthology, and I've seen a couple of them like branch into a different genre, and it's been really cool to see how they're like navigating that in real time. It's very interesting. I love people watching, and this is like the literary equivalent of people watching.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. I mean, the writer thing is a little isolating. You're kind of
Mhm.
out there by yourself working at your desk. So being in a group project is a lot of fun. It's a different experience.
Especially when everyone is so like passionately involved in it. It's not like a
Yeah.
group project at school where you've got like one person working on everything and everyone else just pissing around. Well, thank you very much, Mike. So last but not least, we have Tobias. Could you tell us about your story and what your inspiration was?
Yeah, so I actually had a little bit of a switcheroo on mine. I wrote two stories, and the first one, to be honest, the ring aspect was an afterthought. I was very selfish about it. I was just like, oh, here's my opportunity to write this story
Mhm.
that I've been thinking about, and I was like, kind of later in the process, like, oh yeah, a ring. So, and it was everything I've written this year, besides what the main things I'm writing. That doesn't make any sense, but
It's all does. It's fun.
I've been branching out into different genres all year, which has been a lot of fun. For a different contest I joined, or I entered into, I wrote a like a sci-fi space opera
Mhm.
sort of story, which was like Metal Gear Solid versus mixed with Star Wars, which is something I've
Oh,
never
cool.
done. So for this anthology, the first story I wrote was going to be an epic fantasy Christmas inspired story. So a
Mhm.
Christmas epic fantasy. It has like Christmas heroes and Christmas villains. It's very off the wall. And in the story, they're basically hunting the Yule Cat, which is an Iceland legend.
Mhm.
And I love the story, but it started off goofy Christmas fun,
Mhm.
epic fantasy goofy Christmas, and then it kind of went into like straight up horror by the end,
Mhm.
which I write horror and dark fantasy, so that's kind of like my go-to. But
Yeah.
it was really like a character transition story, because it's really like not to give it away, but it's a Krampus origin story kind of thing underneath it. That's kind of like the reveal. But it just didn't work for me in the 5,000 word count, and I'm still writing the story, but I just didn't feel like this was the place for it.
That's fair.
And the ring aspect was kind of a bit of an afterthought, which
Mhm.
wasn't really fair. And I got a lot of feedback on that one, which was fun.
Oh, good.
They were like, "Wow, this was fun and then terrifying." Not sure, not sure, Tobias.
Nice.
That was also an instance of it started at 7,500 words,
Mhm.
and cutting it down to 5,000. I just was like, "Man, this is too much." I'm more of a cut down from 6,000 to 5,000 is cool,
Mhm.
not from 7,500 to 5,000. That's too much.
Yeah.
And then I was like, well, I wasn't sure what to write after that. And I ended up writing another story I kind of had in my back pocket, but it was unwritten. which was Fleek's Deception, the story I ended up going with, which was
Mhm.
basically like a D&D style straight up fantasy, which is also a departure from what I've written in the past because it's not a dark or urban fantasy. It's just more of R.A. Salvatore kind of style of D&D fantasy story. And
Mhm.
that's featuring half goblin, half orc main character. It's
Mhm.
kind of a beginning of a rise to power sort of story where he's a bit of a misfit in an orc tribe that lives in the swamp,
Mhm.
and he's kind of finding his way. So this is just kind of the very beginning of that story. But it's a story all of its own though, because it has an ending and everything. And I play Warhammer as well, and that's
Mhm.
been a bit uh, an influence from the orcs because I play the orcs in Warhammer.
Mhm.
So there's some of that humor in there, just the
Excellent.
kind of really goofy stuff that the orcs do for Warhammer.
Mhm.
Um, and then as far as the ring aspect of it, the orc tribe is actually kind of held in check by their leaders by their family all wears rings, and they all think that they're these like powerful rings, but they're just very ordinary rings. And they're not the brightest, being orcs, and so that's kind of like a punchline in the story, and that's revealed
Mhm.
right at the beginning. That's not the ending.
Mhm.
But there may or may not be a real magical ring in the story
Mhm.
as well. And then another major aspect of the story is there's this powerful butterfly insect who's um, really this otherworldly being who plays a bigger role in the future stories to come.
Mhm.
So like if you like D&D stories, just regular fantasy with some humor, it's not too dark, but it's not super light and fluffy either,
Mhm.
then this would be kind of up your alley, hopefully.
Nice. Well, this is not the same, but I started playing Hero Quest recently because I was too scared to try Dungeons and Dragons because I'm not very good at playing with others. But it's been a lot of fun, and it's helping me to understand fantasy stories a little bit better. So that's fun. So yeah, there's a good mixture of stuff here, and it was very cute to see Sarah getting excited about the Yule cat.
My favourite Christmas tradition.
Yeah, don't ever kill a cat in a story. Very dangerous territory.
Yeah.
I will come after you.
Specifically, Sarah will kill you. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to quickly dip into the chat before we look at the artwork, but mostly because I just saw that Tim is here and it made me very happy. Hello,
Hey.
Tim. We love you and hope that you're feeling okay or that you're on the mend. We also have some people in the chat. Hang on. I'll just scroll up to the top. So we have, I don't know if Michael Vadney's still here, but he was like 2.5 hours early. So I don't know if he tapped out before we started. If you're still here, hello. And we also have Ellen Holmes. Both of these authors are part, in fact, as well as Tim. Tim's in the anthology?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll tell you in a second. I think so.
Yeah. I'm sure he is.
Yeah, he is.
He's like top billing for everything he does. I was going to say we have Sarah in the chat, but she's on the show.
I'm here.
We have Sebastian. Hello. We have Mallory, who I believe is probably going to be related to Jessie in some kind of way.
My missus. Yeah.
Oh, hello, Mrs. Thank you so much for being here. And I've already outed Tim, but I'm glad that he's here. For anyone that is watching this that isn't part of the list of authors for this anthology, thank you so much for joining us today. There is a QR code down there. I think it's down there. And there is also a link in the description. So if you would like to back this Kickstarter, which I assume you're going to be doing if you're still watching this, it starts on September 1st. But you can go and follow it now so you don't miss any updates. So what I'm going to do now is go through. I'm going to start with Mike. We're going to look at the awesome unique artwork that we have for every single story in this anthology. So every story has a cover, and most of these have been done by Dimitri. And in fact, all of these have been. So you're going to see a theme of style here, but they're all very, very, very cool. So I'm going to start with Mike's. And if you could tell us a bit about what is going on in your, I mean, I'm assuming it's a full death match, from what you said earlier.
Yeah. So I really liked the idea of doing like I said, like a wizard duel. you know, and this is it's kind of the very beginning of how this fight starts. And as you can see, it kind of takes place in a sandy arena. I have a sort of it's sort of in like a desert region of the world, of my world. And it's an interesting, if you've read my book, which probably a lot of people haven't, but the insignia on the main guy's shoulder is a horse, and that's the symbol for the main kind of kingdom, empire, whatever you want to say, in my series. So he's kind of out of water in this scenario. Like I said, he's kind of being forced into this. So
So when you were working with Dimitri for this, did you like come up with a preliminary sketch? Did you just sort of tell him with text like what to do? How did this work?
yeah, so I definitely I had written the story already, and I was looking for someone to kind of just illustrate. I knew I wanted it to be an action scene, and I knew I wanted to emphasize the tournament aspect of it, just so it's, you know, really clear what the story is about right up front. And I kind of just told him the premise of the story, and he came up with this based on that. So
Awesome. Well, it's very cool. I love
Thank
the tone. Like, I love orangey browny colors, as you could probably tell from my background. Really like browns. It's my favorite color. Yes, this is very cool. So
thank you.
I am looking forward to seeing each of these in print. Like so I work at a print shop, so seeing things digitally and then seeing them actually like in the physical media is wild, and it kind of brings them to life. So I'm excited about this. So the next one that we're going to look at is Tobias's. Now I've got to say, I have got a soft spot for a goblin. I'm a huge fan of this. Could you tell us about what is featured in this piece of art?
Yeah, so this is Fleek. He's the protagonist of my story, Fleek's Deception. He's actually half orc, half goblin. And he is going to have a rise to power throughout several stories that are yet unwritten. But this is the beginning of his adventure. And yeah, I love this art that Dimitri did. Here he's formed this relationship with this butterfly, who's a character in the story as well, and he's the only one of his tribe that talks to these, or his clan that talks to the insects. The rest of them, you know, swat at them and try to kill them and all that, unsuccessfully always. But so this one is just showing the protagonist and his best ally, and yeah, it's in the swamp setting, and basically I wrote a novel to Dimitri of how to do the art, because that's what I do. I write very long, like detailed stuff. And then you can see on his finger, he's actually part of the, I don't want to say royal family, but the clan leader family. And you can see his ring of meaningless power is there on his finger. That's the only reason the other orcs, you know, don't try to kill him, some of the other ones, because they fear repercussions from the ring and his family as well. So yeah, I love the art. Very happy.
Yeah, it seems like he's been able to capture quite a lot of what goes on in the story just from this like still. I love that it's almost both of these so far have been almost like monochromatic in coloring, and it's my favorite style. Love it. Well, thank you. So Jesse, yours is a little bit sexy. Could you tell us a little bit about what's going on in this this particular piece of artwork?
Absolutely. So my story is called The Last in Line, after the Rodney James Dio or Dio song. And music and heavy metal are extremely influential in my story process for almost anything that I write. And the famous kind of chorus or line from that song starts with, "We're off to the witch. We may never, ever come home, but the magic that we'll feel is worth a lifetime." And the whole song is about, there's this defining moment that's coming that we'll know for the first time if we're evil or divine. We're the last in line. So it's like the last people to know if they were really doing right or wrong was them. And so this is James, who is your big hulking brute here, who is the first person point of view main character. So you're in James' head for the story, and Lorna, who is their rescue target, and Lorna is known as the drug witch. She's an extremely talented chemist. She's your stereotypical Scottish fiery redhead. And James, along with his two best friends and business partners, show up to rescue her from a gang of criminals who have kidnapped her and forced her to work in their drug lab in this huge abandoned apartment complex, concrete jungle kind of thing. So Lorna is painted up for battle, but she is been forced to work in a drug lab, so they have forced her to wear almost nothing so that she can't hide anything, smuggle anything like that. And this is the moment where she's blown up a quarter of a apartment building, and they finally make it to her. And James helps her down from the rubble, and they have a very connecting moment.
It seems like it. So it seems like they're about to have an even more connecting moment in a minute.
Well, I won't spoil where the story goes.
PG-13. So, so tell me about the process of working with Dimitri. How did this final piece come about?
So I did a mock-up with Midjourney. I don't like using it for anything I'm going to make money off of. But I do love it for, as a writer, being able to have it spit something out that's kind of right. I don't know if anybody wants to see the original mock-up. I have it. I could share it. But
yeah, if you would like to.
Yeah, sure. Let me...
I don't know if you can share your screen, but you're welcome to try.
Here we go.
I think I can maximize you.
Well...
Add to the scene. This is risky on a live. Okay.
Yeah, so this was the original mock-up. So Lorna, being a chemist, I really wanted her to have her battle paint, and I wanted her to have the Molotov. So that was my original cover, which is wrong for the details of the story.
Yeah.
So Dimitri did a fantastic job of taking this and then making it where it's now we transform into what people were to actually look like, accurate to what was written in the story.
Cool. So yeah, I mean, the texture is incredible, especially on her dress, and the I don't know, it's really impactful. So I can see that this would be again very, very cool in print. All of these are going to look sick. Like, let's not pretend like any of them aren't going to. So lastly, we have Sarah. Could you tell us what is going on in this very wistful picture?
So this is a scene from Skylark. This is the main character, Sarson, and the lighthouse is based off of a real lighthouse in Aberdeen called Girdle Ness, is where one of the pivotal scenes of the story takes place. And I was really lucky because I couldn't afford art, and so I was trying to make something up, and I couldn't get it right. And then I got a message from Mike Molman saying that somebody had paid for me to get some art commissioned. And I don't know who it was. They won't tell me, but I will find them eventually and repay them. That's really lovely thing to do. And I'm so pleased with the art. It's like exactly how I imagined it. And I had this really sprawling email to Dimitri being like, this is kind of what I've got in mind. And he was like, I've got it, don't worry.
That's so nice. I mean, it is lovely. I like, if you just kind of look at it a little bit further away, it does look like a photo. It's really, really cool. And it's captured the beautiful overcast sky that we get over on the Isle.
It really does capture Aberdeen.
Yeah. Yeah, I think the only time that I've ever been to Scotland, it was so foggy that it looked like there was a smoke machine. It was cool and very boozy. It's a very, very boozy time. Yeah, these are all fantastic. And again, if you didn't catch this before, every single story comes with an individual piece of art. So when you back this Kickstarter, you have the opportunity to get a story every day of the month of December. And if you, I don't know if you have to like back a certain amount of money, but we are looking for enough money to be raised for us to be able to make a really cool hardcover edition with like sprayed edges and all that sort of cool stuff. So this will be an exclusive for Kickstarter, so you won't be able to buy it anywhere else. So this is your only chance to get all these stories in one place, so you should do it. It's trying to guilt trip you. I don't know if it's going to work on anyone. So before we go around and learn just a little bit about what other things you guys write, I would like for you all to tell our audience one reason why they should back this Kickstarter. And I'm going to start with Tobias this time.
Just one reason is going to be hard.
I know.
But I have to leave some more reasons for other people, right?
Exactly.
Let me think of which one I think is the best. Well, I'll just say I think this anthology is cool in the variety of genres that's in it. A lot of anthologies are themed or based around one genre. And so this one, you know, if you have broad tastes or you want to venture into different genres you might not normally read, this is a great way to venture out and learn some, you know, whether you like or dislike romance, or if you're a sci-fi reader and you've been scared to read horror but you want to dabble in that, you can do that with this anthology. So it's kind of like that sampler platter of stories, and at the same time you're getting to get introduced to all these awesome indie authors, and you can find out some new favorite authors as well. So it's a great way to get exposure to new things.
Amazing. I'm pretty sure that was 3 reasons. But
that was just one.
Just because there are so many. Thank you, Tobias. So what about you, Mike? Why should people back this Kickstarter?
Kind of branching off what Tobias said, there's so many, this is 34 different authors. So, and it's all indie authors, right? And, you know, a lot of people want to try out indie authors, or they want to dip their toe into the indie space and see how it is and kind of try out a bunch of different people. This is the perfect way to do that, right? You get to see all these different authors and see all their different styles and kind of get a taste for what they offer. And everybody in this anthology, almost everybody, has some sort of book or series or something that they either already have out or are putting out in the process of. So you can really kind of see what the indie space is like and see what's out there. I think this anthologies are the perfect way to do that.
Awesome. Thank you. And what about you, Sarah? Why should people back this Kickstarter?
I mean, this is like the best advent calendar you're ever going to get, isn't it? Like, you get a story and a piece of art sent to you every day. Like, that's so exciting. And it's not just up to Christmas, it's the entire time.
Yeah.
But also it's been such a beautiful collaborative community project. And it isn't just in the fact that everyone's come together to write a story. It's been everyone's really supported each other, gone out of their way to leave feedback or help with art or help with ideas. It's really something that should just be celebrated. I think it's so hard, I think, as indie authors sometimes to keep going. It can feel very solitary, but this is really a lovely physical thing to show that how strong the indie community is.
Oh, that was nice. Thank you, Sarah. And what about you, Jesse?
For me, this is about going back to an era that we kind of left. The short story, its art form, its market, it's kind of been given the battle. But the truth is that there are entire legendary generations. Like, everybody talks about Tolkien and C.S. Lewis and all of them, and how they were buddies and doing their novels and books way back then. But another huge group is Lovecraft and Howard and Smith and all these guys that wrote each other letters and wrote together. And Weird Tales was their founding. Everyone knows Conan the Barbarian. Everyone knows the Call of Cthulhu. This is all short content. It's not novels. Howard wrote one novella, The Hour of the Dragon, for Conan. It was all of Conan's life is documented in short stories besides that. And so if you love fiction and you want to be involved in fiction, you need to be part of things like this, because this is where you're going to find the next Lovecraft, the next Howard, or someone that makes you feel the way that those writers can. And there's tons of indie authors that are just getting buried because they don't have the time to crank out a 3-book series on their own. But the talent pool in this is stunning. But you don't know that yet because you haven't read it. And the only way that the only way you're going to find that next person, the only way you're going to get to be part of this entire section of fiction is participating.
So we are basically potentially the gateway drug to people loving short stories, and I kind of love that. Some sort of fantastical influence. That's fantastic. So before we dip out, I would like for you guys to have the opportunity to tell people where to sort of find you, not your house, just like online, and what sorts of things they can find from you other than this anthology. So I'm going to go back around the opposite way. And Jesse, how can people find you and your work, and what sorts of things do you do?
I am a action writer. I write sword fights, fist fights, gun fights, anything I can squeeze a fight into. If that interests you, despite genre, I have sci-fi, I have fantasy, I have redneck horror comedy. My big novel, Gravesinger, should hit Amazon sometime next month. I got to get it to all my Kickstarter people first. I got to get them their copies, and then I'll have it up for wide sale. If you want to find all of those things, you can, of course, find me on Amazon. If you put Jesse James Fain, Amazon, or Tyrus Drake, Amazon, you will find me. You can also go to my website, which is outlawauthor.com, with my name being what it is, and yes, that is my name. The branding writes itself. I had to go that route. So you can find me there. I'm very active on Substack and X. If you like the way I explain things or the way I rant here, you'll like the way I rant on Substack. Come check it out.
Amazing, thank you. And Sarah, where can people find you and your work, and what sorts of things do you write?
So the best place to find me probably is my website, which is sarahRnew.wordpress.com. I'm a horror writer and apparently a mystery writer now, but my most recent release is Cat Food, my very beat up copy that will be taken to Sweden, which it's a pet horror. It's been likened to things like Cujo and Pet Cemetery. I'm also try to be a community builder, so I do the selection box here on Booked with Saffron, and we also co-host a podcast together called Anatomy of a Horror Film. The next one's coming in a couple of weeks. I think it's something like 10 days now.
It's 10 days.
So yeah.
And we're going to be talking about the Alien quadrilogy as well, in case you
come and watch us dissect aliens.
Sounds like a good one.
My favorite films ever. I'm so excited. Thank you very much, Sarah. And Mike, where can people find you and your work, and what do you write?
So I write dark fantasy. I have 2 books out right now, Silent Conspiracy and The Cold Water Job. I actually remembered to have them with me for once on a live stream.
Well done.
And I have a website, mycahoon.com, where I write a monthly newsletter. If you subscribe, you can actually get an e-copy of The Cold Water Job for free. But I'm also on every social media, Mike Cahoon author. So Instagram, TikTok, X, everything. So you can look for me wherever you happen to be.
Amazing. What, like behind the bushes and
hiding
in the pantry?
I'm everywhere, all the time.
Fantastic. Excellent. There's a mic in every household. And Tobias, what about you? Where can people find you and your work, and what do you write?
So I write many different things, but I have a completed dark fantasy, urban fantasy trilogy. Here's book number 1, Grave Covenant, if you can see that. I was in Spiffbo this year. And then I also write horror. I have a horror series that is in process. 2 of them are out now. Death Sketch is number 1, and Tom is number 2.
Amazing.
And I co-authored those with my son, Oliver Shade. So we're Youngblood and Shade together.
That's nice.
And we have 10 stories mapped out at this time. 2 of them are out now, but that's my focus in the near future. So hoping to crank those out and have maybe 5 out next year to have 7 total.
Wow.
They're all shorter novella length. Call them Goosebumps for adults. They're standalone for the most part, but there's some 1 and 2 parters, and they're just all over the place as far as what the plot may be or the characters can be. And they're just super fun. as far as where you can find me, I'm on Instagram. I have you can join or you can go to tobiasyoungblood.com to join my newsletter. Put out one of those once a month, and that's probably the best place to find out what I have going on. And then I'm on Instagram, a little bit of TikTok recently, and Facebook as well, a little bit with the horror. There's like some horror groups I participate in there, but kind of all over the place, really. I'm not really on X too much, but and Blue Sky is dead for me. Whenever I go on there, just completely dead.
It's pretty dead, yeah.
So yeah, that's pretty much where you can find me.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much. Mike just dipped. I don't know why.
I'm out.
I think he might have just lost signal or something. Or yeah, exactly. He did run off to occupy somebody's tree. He's like, oh shit, I've got an appointment. Amazing. Well, thank you so much to all of you for being here, even Mike, who has disappeared. I assume maybe an invisibility cloak might have been involved as well. That's entirely possible, being a fantasy writer. Oh, here he is, in time to say goodbye. And he's not there. Amazing.
He's under the bush.
Professional streamer, baby.
Oh, I love to see it. We love to see it. Okay, well, Mike, if you can hear us, we're going to say goodbye now. Thank you to everyone that joined us today, whether you joined live or you're watching the recording. Please consider backing this Kickstarter. As I said before, the QR code, if you're watching on a different device, is down there. There is a link down below. I've made it very easy for you, so go and subscribe to it for now, and back it from the 1st of September. Thank you all so much for being here. I really appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
It's all right. I'm going to put the outro on now and we can all wave awkwardly. Goodbye, everybody.
Bye. Bye-bye.